Today we're taking a look at these MLB matches: Washington Nationals vs New York Mets, Game 2. Detroit Tigers vs Baltimore Orioles, Texas Rangers vs Seattle Mariners, Tampa Bay Rays vs Boston Red Sox, and Cincinnati Reds vs Atlanta Braves, which are happening on Thursday, August 12, 2021, and giving you match breakdowns, betting tips and predictions in general on these games. Welcome back to High Stakes. Let's get straight into it. Also, don't forget to subscribe to get notified as soon as we release these sport prediction videos, and if you would like more betting tips and predictions, then check out our Patreon in the link down below. Our new Patreon is a way for us to help you improve your chances of making more money. 5 plans are available for each and every one of you. You can get 30 extra betting picks all the way up to 270 extra betting picks per month. Stop wasting hours of your time searching for bad betting advice that ends up costing you a lot of money. Join the High Stakes Patreon now and get the best betting picks and advice. Washington Nationals vs New York Mets, Game 2. The Mets have been struggling of late but looked strong over the course of the opening game against the Nationals and will bring that same energy to both games of the doubleheader. While the Mets are dealing with some injuries themselves, they still have far more depth than the Nationals in the pitching department to navigate the two games. The Nationals are having a season to forget with a record 13 games below .500 and the fourth best record in the division. Part of the reason for their struggles has been their pitching staff, and Eric Fed has been a liability on the mound for the team, allowing 53 runs in only 18 starts. Moreover, Fed is allowing a .264 expected batting average, a .435 expected opponent slugging percentage, and a 4.84 expected ERA, all of which have been among the worst in the MLB this season. Less than a month ago, the Mets and their fans were feeling strong about their chances at making the playoffs. Now though, after going 3-7 in their last 10 games and seeing both the Phillies and the Braves pass them in the standing, that doesn't seem as sure of a thing. New York only sits a game behind both the Phillies and Braves in the NL East standings and know that they need a strong finish against the Nationals to keep pace with the new divisional leaders. The Mets have a long list of injuries, which helps to explain their recent struggles. Javier Baez, back, who just came over from the Cubs a few short weeks ago, is questionable for Thursday's slate of games, while Francisco Lindor, oblique, and a handful of starters and relievers remain out. My betting advice for that game is to pick New York Mets. Detroit Tigers vs Baltimore Orioles. It's rare for the Baltimore Orioles to be favored in any game, but they are here. The main reason they are favored is because their best pitcher, John Means, is on the mound. The Orioles have a chance to win every 5 days when Means takes the mound. This time around he has a really good chance because the Orioles may actually provide some run production. That's because they are facing Manning, who has an ERA over 6 and has routinely gotten pounded this year. The Tigers have to be thrilled with this season so far, as they are now just one game out of second place after promising young pitcher Tarik Skubal led Detroit to a win on Wednesday. Miguel Cabrera opened the scoring with career homer number 499 in the fifth, with Nico Goodrum putting Detroit in control later in the inning on a 2-run double. The Baltimore Orioles are just flat out bad, which explains the fact that they have the worst record in baseball. They lost their 7th straight game on Wednesday, falling to the Tigers 5-2. Matt Harvey, 6-11, took the loss. Anthony Santander led the Orioles with 3 hits and 2 RBIs. He had a home run. The loss dropped the Orioles to 38-74. My betting advice for that game is to pick Baltimore Orioles. Texas Rangers vs Seattle Mariners. Texas has been in the midst of another lost campaign, but they've proven to be a thorn in the side of the Mariners lately, taking 3 of 4 meetings over the last couple of weeks entering Wednesday. With that said, the Rangers are just 14-43 on the road this season, and Fultinovich has been awful pitching on the road. Gonzalez ended up with a no decision in his last outing, though there's nothing to be sneezed at when it comes to throwing 6.2 scoreless innings. My betting advice for that game is to pick Seattle Mariners -1.5. Tampa Bay Rays vs Boston Red Sox. Thursday's game promises to be a close one as the teams start to finish out the season series against each other. The Red Sox may have just put up 20 runs, but as one of the worst teams in baseball over the last 10 games, the Red Sox have far more to prove on the field and within their consistencies. The big hitters continue to perform, but the struggles of the supporting cast continue to be an issue. For the Rays, they are getting action from the top to the bottom of the order. Tampa possesses one of the best starting rotation bullpen combinations in the majors. They have a crisp 3.37 staff ERA and rank top 5 in whip, walks, and strikeouts generated. Opposing batters are hitting only .223 against Rays pitching. If their bats can continue their upward swing, the Rays will be a dangerous team to face if they make the postseason. They have a 5-game lead over the Red Sox in the AL East coming into play on Wednesday. Boston looked like the only question by the fall would be if they had the best record in the American League or not. A recent cold skid, though, has tempered expectations, and Boston still sits within 4 games of the Rays and are 2 games up on the Yankees for the final wild card spot. The offense erupted on Wednesday night to even up the series and will need that same energy on Thursday, especially given the question mark surrounding the rotation. Boston has seen their injury report grow and grow over the last few weeks and will remain without some big bats. Kyle Schwarber, hamstring, Christian Vasquez, personal, and Alex Verdugo, personal, all remain out, along with plenty of pitchers. My betting advice for that game is to pick Tampa Bay. Cincinnati Reds versus Atlanta Braves. Cincinnati is not the type of team you want to face when control has been an issue. Muller threw 3 wild pitches in his last start, but he got away with it against a depleted Washington lineup. The Reds have been one of the hottest offenses in the majors this season, particularly over the last few weeks. They like to jump out to an early lead, which does not bode well for Muller. Gutierrez does not have great season-long numbers, but he has been sharp of late. Only a week ago, Cincinnati had their sights on the final NL wild card spot as they had pulled 2 within 2.5 games of San Diego for that position. Fast forward to today and the Reds are coming off their 3rd loss in a row, including the first 2 games of the Atlanta series, and now find themselves 4.5 games back of the wild card. At 61-54, the Reds have done an impressive job of recovering from being below .500, however, dropping 3 in a row doesn't help their playoff chances as they're not also 8 games behind Milwaukee for first in the Central. The 25-year-old Gutierrez made his season debut back on May 28 when he pitched 5 innings and only allowed 1 run against the Chicago Cubs. On the season, Gutierrez has gone 7-3 with a 4.15 ERA and a 1.34 whip over 13 starts and 73.2 innings of work. He had a shaky June, where he went 3-2 over 5 starts, but ended the month with a 5.40 ERA. Gutierrez improved his ERA in July as it dipped down nearly 1 full run to 4.43, but so far in August he has been far better as he's only allowed 2 runs in 13 innings over 2 starts this month. My betting advice for that game is to pick Cincinnati Reds. Good luck to all of you. That's it for this video. Stay tuned and stay safe for the next betting tips and advice.